I think this is a good moment to start explaining a bit more about the band and how it all came together. We are still working very hard on getting all the last details of the songs done. Vocals are being recorded, the last notes of the bass are being done, but I think it's time you guys get to hear some snippets here and there. I just want to take you through how the recording process went. I recorded this album in a period of 2 months at my place, my home studio, and basically wrote the 11 songs that I found people for. I explained who they are, so you know all these people, except for the singer, but that's for later. And I just want to show you a few things like what the recording process is. So for the very first time in my musical career, I really tried to compose my own orchestras. And for this album, I really went all out and used all kinds of digital instruments to make my own orchestras. And some of these are really elaborate, like 20 tracks, and really add to the atmosphere of the music. Sometimes it's just the orchestra playing and yeah, just telling the story of this Fleetburner that you're gonna hear all about. And after I wrote my parts, that's when Veli-Matti, the keyboard player, came in and added his own personal touch to it and made it sound a bit more modern and more him, more us, I guess. For instance, I'll just take you through it. I would write like an orchestra, and my parts would sound something like this. And then afterwards, Veli-Matti would come in and add synthesizers and extra layers and like even 20 more layers to that, so that in the end, all our tracks combined come out something like this. So I record all the stuff at my place, I program the drums with an electronic drum kit, and then after that I would send it out to Tomas, who would then do his own drum takes to it. So I recorded the whole album in Cubase Pro 10, which was a big deal because halfway the project, my tracks were getting so many. I had like 20 tracks of orchestras, and then Veli-Matti would come in and have like 20 more, and then we had the drums, which were 16 tracks, and it was just all getting too much. And then Steinberg jumped in and said, "Hey Kevin, we can help you." They were gonna give me that Cubase Pro. So I had no more track limit and super easy to export everything to the studio and to do the back and forth between all the musicians, because that was a lot of work. I would have to send out the songs, get them back, and you know. So thank you, Steinberg. You guys are the best. You've saved this project. All right, so for instance, I have here a drum kit. And of course this sounds super robotic, and it's okay for a demo, but then I would send the song out once it's finished, and I send it to Tomas, who records it at his place, and he gives me all these tracks and makes it sound more like this. And of course, since these are live drums, there are some small details that you would want to fix afterwards, and that's where Daniel comes in. Daniel did a fantastic job on editing all these drums, and he's going to explain a little bit more.
Hi, my name's Daniel Medley. I've been a drummer for about 15 years and editing drums for almost that whole time. And Kevin found me on Air Gigs and hired me to edit the drums on this awesome record. I spent a lot of time pocketing, it was like 11 or so songs. As you can see, there was a lot of manual editing, a lot of time spent. So I'd love to kind of show you what it takes to get to a great sounding record. So as you can see, all these little stretch markers, these little dots, can move the drums around like so. So we listen back now that this is all wrong. That sounds way off. Go back to where it should be. The stretch marker lives. Everything sounds nice and on. On a record like this, you kind of want it to be super tight. So you end up moving things around ever so slightly a bunch of times.
So after Daniel was done with the songs and it's all edited to perfection, that's the moment that I can send out the song to Peter to record his bass, and because the bass and the drums have to lock in together, and it's no use playing bass to drums that aren't finished yet. So that's the recording order, which is why Peter is still recording the last 2 songs right now. Actually today he's busy doing that. So I'm getting the files in as we speak. And then once all these are recorded, so we have the guitars of course already because I did those at home, then Tomas comes in with the drums, then we get the bass, then we have additional sounds, and then it's off to the studio to get it mixed. And that's the point where it starts sounding really, really awesome, and you guys are gonna have to wait to hear it.